Declaration of Jocelyn H., last name redacted, an exhibit in support of the Flores Agreement. I, Jocelyn H., declare under penalty of perjury that the following is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and recollection. My date of birth is June 29, 2005. I am 13 years old. My mother and I are from Honduras. We left the country because my mom was working at a shop and they threatened her. She was really scared and did not know what to do. Eventually, the place she worked shut down, and so we were not able to afford living there anymore, so we had to leave the country. We presented ourselves at the border about June 25, 2018. We were taken to what they call the freezer. There were no beds at all there, so everyone had to sleep on the cold cement. I was able to have my mother with me the whole time, but many mothers were not able to. It was so cold where we were staying that we could not sleep or rest. We were given small aluminum blankets. One blanket was for me and one was for my mother. We were not allowed to shower while we were there. The toilets were very dirty. Sometimes there was toilet paper, but sometimes there was not. There was not usually water for us to wash our hands. We did not have toothbrushes. There was a small container of juice and sandwiches that were very small. We were very hungry. It was painful how hungry we were. The sandwiches they gave us were still frozen, and when I tried to eat, it made me nauseous, so I was not able to eat it, and neither was my mother. It was extremely cold at this place, and we were not able to sleep because of how cold it was. The air conditioning was turned on very high, and it was pointed right above where I was sleeping. The lights were always on. We were not given anything to clean ourselves or allowed to shower. A lot of the times we could not wash our hands after going to the bathroom. Sometimes they would have a little water for us to wash our hands, but not always. After 5 hours, my mother and I were taken to another place where we were held for 2 days. In La Perera, I was separated from my mother as we arrived. I had to go to this other caged area where other children were. I do not understand why, but whenever I would try to fall asleep, a police would come and kick me in my feet to wake me up. Once I would wake up, they would walk away. We had sandwiches, and they were still frozen like in the first place. They gave us apples, a small cookie, and water bottles. They only gave us water when it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They only gave us small mats to sleep on, and all of the mats were touching side by side, so there was no room to relax my body. I was able to shower one time that I stayed there. They had towels and soap for us to use there. It was so cold, and I had only one shirt on. After staying here for 2 days, we were then transported in a bus. In the bus, the police did not yell at us, and they were nice. I was not able to be with my mother again until we were in the bus. I have not yet received legal notice or access to counsel, but I have an appointment to speak to someone in the Visitors Center soon. My mother and I were taken out of that facility on the 26th of June, 2018. My mother and I have been at the location in Dili for about 3 days. It was a 4 or 5 hour trip by the bus. In this experience, in this facility in Dili, I am treated well, and in comparison to where I stayed before, I feel like I can finally relax. My mother and I can finally sleep. I have not been here for very long, but the facility has beds and better food that we can eat. We are planning to stay with my aunt in Florida. My mom and I do not know anything about my case yet. I only know that they have told me that I will be able to meet with someone to discuss my case. I have plans to speak with them soon. I, Jocelyn H., swear under penalty of perjury that the above declaration is true and complete to the best of my abilities. This declaration was provided in Spanish, a language in which I am fluent, and was read back to me in Spanish.